S.B.3.30.14-3.31.15 Santapyamana patitaptavaluke Krishna priste kashaya chatadita Chalatya shaktopi nirashramodake Under the scorching sun, the criminal has to pass through roads of hot sand with forest fires on both sides. He is whipped on the back by the constables because of his inability to walk, and he is afflicted by hunger and thirst. But unfortunately, there's no drinking water, no shelter, no place for rest on the road. So it's not an easy situation. Huh? When you are, what happened?
It's not good in quality sound.
It's not clear. As long as you get the sound is there. Text 23. Tatra tatra batan charanto Murchita puna utita Patapa piyasa nitas Arasayama sadhanam While passing on the road to the abode of Yamaraj, he falls down in fatigue and sometimes he becomes unconscious, but he is forced to rise again. In this way, he is very quickly brought to the presence of Yamaraj.
It means even subtle body has fatigue.
Even subtle body is experiencing all the pain and so on.
So I was thinking, instead of all movies about sense gratification, we can make one movie about this. I think people at least
nobody will come and watch that.
And here too, they talk about road means the road which constables of Yamaraj they are taking.
Yes.
Not our roads.
Just subtle roads.
Who's going to do that?
Some subtle platform.
This is by the constables of Yamaraj. Text 24. Yojananam sahasrani Navatim navachadvanaha Vibir muhurtai dvavyam va Nita prapnoti yatanaha Thus he has to pass 99,000 yojanas within 2 or 3 moments, and then he is at once engaged in torturous punishment which he is destined to suffer. 1 yojana is 8 miles. So he has to pass, Prabhupada calculates as 792,000 miles. But it happens in
2 seconds.
Moments.
The moment is 1/11th of a second. So 3/11th of a second. So less than half a second.
The speed of mind.
Yeah, it's very fast. Sometimes you even go to hell. If your punishment is short, you come back within 1-2 seconds. Like take birth.
Oh. It's like our time is 6 months.
So it's a relative. Time in lower planetary system is moving at a faster pace than here. So our one day could be 1,000 years in Narakaloka like that, or even more, 1,000,000 years like that, or lifetime, so to speak. I think in the hellish planet they punish until you die, and then they revive you, and then they punish until you die, then they revive you like that for until how long you have to be punished.
So in this verse of Prabhu it says directly like they go into punishment.
Yeah.
Like as soon as the constable takes.
Because he already knows you can't. It's not that the judge will never do that scaring.
No, actually they will, but everything happens so fast from our point of view.
So they didn't get a court case.
Yeah, then we have no lawyers following us. Maybe they should take the lawyers with them also.
So nobody will get immediately body problem. Everybody goes to Yamaraja and of course.
No, different. Depends on how sinful you are. Very simple goes to hellish, though others may be punished in a different way. Taking it is possible they all go that way. Very simple, you go there, hellish, punished. After that, you're given animal body or other lower species because you misuse the human body.
Just like we have lifetime imprisonment.
Only a pious will go up and then enjoy like that. Okay, Prabhupada writes, the subtle body is covered by the constable so the living entity can pass such a long distance quickly and at the same time tolerate the suffering. Discovering all the materials of such fine elements that material scientists cannot discover what the coverings are made of. Okay, so like I was saying, everything is, from the earth point of view, everything is gross, but as you go higher planets, fine. Lower planet also in a different, finer content, element. Same water element, but it's in a different dimension, you can say, like that. That's my understanding.
So that means in the hellish planets,
They have water, everything.
You will have a body,
Yes.
but it's not as like our gross body. There is
It's
a
not
different
gross.
form.
It's your subtle body. So you punish that. After that, you will take on a different body.
So just now you said that for some of them, they punish until you die. Again, they revive, and then. So what is their death means? Because in this earthly planets, death means you are losing the.
Okay, well, they faint. How's that? You can say fainting.
Extreme pain and then
Yeah.
a restart.
Maybe it's not death, but
Yeah, that's what actually the next few verses. Like there is a description of how the elephants actually.
we'll go through.
So it's not really death actually.
Yeah.
It's suffering.
It's real suffering that you feel like dying.
And then they
You
put
revive.
water again, revive you.
Yes. They have the ability to bring you back to consciousness.
Another point I remember you always used to mention that living entity has the ability to tolerate so much.
Yes.
So that's also it shows.
Yes. So just imagine they go through hell and still. So the living entity can tolerate many things. So no matter how painful it is. Yeah. So this is, Prabhupada's point is 792,000 miles away this sick place is. But how the route they take, nobody knows, for one thing. And then Prabhupada says, even though modern space travel at 80,000 miles per hour, they still haven't, they have to take in 1 hour to travel, 18,000 miles. But they travel in less than
1 second.
half a second.
At least we know it's 790,000 miles down south.
Yeah, down south. Yeah. Still, the technology used by Yamadutas are all material technology, still. So, but our scientists are not able to figure that out,
Exactly.
how they can travel. It's amazing technology. Text 25. Adipanam swagatranam
Adipanam swagatranam
Vestayutvol mukhadibi Atmamam sadhanam kwapi Swakritam paratopi va He is placed in the midst of burning pieces of wood, and his limbs are set on fire. In some cases, he is made to eat his own flesh or have it eaten by others. Terrible, no? So if you eat someone's flesh, then you are forced to eat your own flesh like that. Or some animal that looks like the animals you ate, crabs, fish, cow, all will come and eat you. You cannot stop it. This is hell.
So they are given some physical body.
Some kind of
It
body.
is all still a body. It is still material.
Yeah, it's material.
Jivataschantra vyuddara Swagridrai yamasadane Sarva vrishchika damshadye Dasadvischatma vaishasam translation, his entrails, that means the intestines and all, are pulled out by the hounds and vultures of hell, even though he is still alive to see it, and is subjected to torment by serpents, scorpions, gnats, and other creatures that bite him. He feels it. This is real. He feels the pain, the suffering. It's not. Otherwise, then it's no problem, right? But he feels all of it.
Prabhuji, the same description is given in Garuda Purana also. Right?
Is that right? I don't know. I know it's all there in the Puranas.
Kumbi Paka and
27.
Anyway, all I know is it's all scary.
They have a subtle body, and then that subtle body feels that he has still that mental body and is going through that punishment. Is it like that?
Why you worry about that? You feeling pain now, right? Same way you feel.
It's going to be
Don't
worse.
try to understand this, that. You have your subtle body now also.
Yeah.
So it's the mind, intelligence and ego. It's the subtle body. So it goes with you. No matter what body it is, you still feel the pain.
Actually,
That's the
Because
main
they are
thing.
mentioning
Body
that
is-
the flesh.
Yeah.
They are clearly mentioning that flesh. That means they are a different kind of material body.
Whatever it is, why you worry?
As Prabhupada said in the previous purport, they get a special material
Yeah,
body
covering.
which scientists cannot think of.
Yeah.
Covering, he
Still a
says.
material body.
They are given by the Yamadutas. They cover them up or something like that, he says,
Like
right?
jail dress, some dress.
Whatever, it is still subtle.
The,
It's a covering there,
It's a covering.
and it's like a flesh. So, but my point is, if you can feel in this body, you're going to feel it in the subtle body also. Don't worry about how it is, it's transparent or not. It doesn't matter. You still feel the pain.
Essentially,
Logically, the soul is suffering because of its identity with the
it's a
body.
punishment
And
body.
this gross body is anyway dead.
Whatever it is, they are feeling pain. That's all you need to know.
Even Prabhu, even current life, in dreams sometimes you feel the
Right.
pain, right? It's not, body is not really experiencing pain, but in the dreams you feel it.
Yeah, that is subtle.
That's subtle. How are you feeling that you suppose something happening and you get up? The pain is there.
The pain is felt by the false ego. So,
Yeah, so that subtle body is still there.
Now, usually, if you wake up and see what the pain is, something may be pressing your hand or something. Anyway, at least my experience. Text 27. Krintanam chavaya vasho gajadibhyo vidapanam Atanam girishringebhyo Bodanam chambu gartayo. Next, his limbs are lopped off, that means cut off, and torn asunder by elephants. He is hurled down from hilltops, and he is also held captive either in water or in a cave. So he can't run anywhere now. All that, just the body is thrown down the mountain or hills. Horrible, huh? Text 28. Yasta mishrandata mishra Rauravadyascha yatanah Bhunte narva nariva Nita sangena nirmitaha. Men and women whose lives were built upon indulgence in illicit sex life are put into many kinds of miserable conditions in the hells known as Tamishra, Andatamishra, and Raurava. So what Prabhupada says is sex life must be restricted. Otherwise, people will be performing it illicitly, illegally, and then they get punishment. So Prabhupada is in the middle of the purpose. In this world also, they are punished by virulent diseases like syphilis and gonorrhea. And in the next life, as we see in this passage of Srimad Bhagavatam, they are put into different kinds of hellish conditions to suffer. So there are different planets for such punishments for illicit sex. Text 29. Atraiva naraka swarga iti mata prachakshate yayatana vai Saihapi Upalakshitaha. Lord Kapila continued, my dear mother, it is sometimes said that we experience hell or heaven on this planet. For hellish punishments are sometimes visible on this planet also. So you can see sometimes people are really suffering. They get some terrible disease, or they are born without limbs and so many things. So it is like that. So that it is also hellish sometimes here. So what do we understand? This planet is actually not for us to live here. We should try to perfect ourselves, purify our consciousness and get out. For example, Prabhupada says, if a man is to be punished to remain in hell and eat stool and urine, then first of all he practices such habits on the planet of Yamaraj. And then he's given a particular type of body, that of a hog, so that he can eat stool and think that he's enjoying life. So in hell they'll force you to eat, and then they'll force you to be like the animal. And you say no, they say yeah, they punish you, and then you eat, starting eating, and then you are like pig. And then they'll bring you back, and then you in the womb of a pig mother, and you become a pig child. That's it. Then you enjoy your life.
So the thing is, in Yamaloka, when we are going through that, there is no covering. So it's even more like this. At least in the pig form, there's a covering. So they're enjoying.
There's no covering there. There is supposed to experience the pain and every suffering you're supposed to experience. So those suffering that you're forced to eat, then after a while you think this is okay, then they will take you. Say, okay, you're ready for pig life here. Horrible, no? Terrible. So anyway, let's make sure we go back to Radha. Text 30. Evam kutumbam vibrana. Udaram vara eva va. Vishrijeho bayam pritya. Bhunte tatpala idrisham. After leaving this body, the man who maintained himself and his family members by sinful activities suffers a hellish life, and his relatives suffer also. So not just the man, everyone who made him do that also suffer. So either this life or next life they will be suffering. So therefore we have to become careful of what we do in this life. The best thing to do is do Krishna conscious activities. Text 31. Eka prapadyate dvantam. Idvedam swakalevaram. Kushale tarapateyo. Bhutadrohena yadvritam. He goes alone to the darkest regions of hell after quitting the present body, and the money he acquired by envying other living entities is the passage money with which he leaves this world. So, Prabhupada writes, so the man earns money by unfair means and maintains his family and himself with that money. The money is enjoyed by many members of the family, but he alone goes to hell for that. A person who enjoys life by earning money or by envying another's life, and he enjoys with family and friends, will have to enjoy alone the resultant sinful reactions accrued from such violent and illicit life. So you cannot envy another person also. If a man secures some money by killing someone and with that money maintains his family, those who enjoy the black money earned by him are also partially responsible, and they are also sent to hell. But he who is the leader is especially punished. So the result is he takes sinful reaction and not the money. The money is left in the world and he takes only the reaction. Prabhupada is so nice, he makes us understand. So Chanaka Pandit says, Therefore, that whatever one has in his possession had better be spent for the cause of Sat or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because one cannot take his possessions with him. They remain here and they will be lost. Either we leave the money or the money leaves us, but we will be separated. Best use of money, as long as it is within our possession, is to spend it to acquire Krishna consciousness. Okay? It's a fact. So don't save money and then not use it for Krishna. Make sure even if you are going to die, write a will and say it goes to Krishna. Or to Tulsi.
Yeah, but Prabhupada said like we divide.
Yeah,
50%.
Rupa Goswami. It says 25%. The family and for yourself, final. That's all. The rest all should go to Krishna. Daivanasaditam tasya Shamalam niraye puman Bhunte kutumba posasya Rita Rita ivaturaha. Thus, by the arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the maintainer of kinsman is put into a hellish condition to suffer for his sinful activities, like a man who has lost his wealth. So again, the same thing is put into such a difficult place. The reaction he has to still suffer. Text 33. Kevalena hi adharmena kutumba baranotsukaha yati jivo vandata mishram charamam tamasapadam. Therefore, a person who is very eager to maintain his family and kinsmen simply by black method certainly goes to the darkest region of hell, which is known as Andha-ta-mishra. Yes, Tamishra, Andha-ta-mishra. And then Guru. Kevalena means only by black methods, not dharmic. Adharmena means unrighteous or irreligious, and Kutumba Bharana means family maintenance. It's a duty of a householder to maintain the family, but it should be done according to the prescribed duties, not according to some other black methods. Okay? One should work honestly, Prabhupada says, and not by unfair means, and should work according to one's qualification. Otherwise, he has to go to the Andha-ta-mishra. Text 34. Adastan naralokasya Yavati yatanadaya Kramasya samanu kramya Punar atra vrajechuchi. Having gone through all the miserable hellish conditions and having passed in a regular order through the lowest forms of animal life prior to human birth, and having thus been purged of his sins, one is reborn again as a human being on this earth. So he has to go through the punishment, then the lowest forms of the animal life. After he's finished that, 8.4 million, then human birth.
So long.
Yeah, so it takes a long time to get a human birth. It's not so easy, Not like what we all think.
Big cycle.
Yeah, it's a long cycle, big long cycle.
So that when he comes in a human form, so he can remember the past things, then he can utilize it.
No, he It's hope that after you get sufficiently punished, you don't do sinful activities. Hopefully.
That's right.
Yeah. And the whole thing is to give you a chance. Whether you get punished or you don't get punished, you're always given a chance to make the right choices. It's not just that you go to hell, then you're given a chance. No, you've been, I don't know how many times we all been to hell already.
So
Yeah, so then we maybe we are learning because we have taken up something now, Krishna consciousness, to some extent. And don't know how much more we have to do before we go back. Thus, and the Bhakti Vedanta, the purpose of the third canto, 30th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entire description of by Lord Kapila of adverse fruitive activities. Chapter 31. Lord Kapila's instructions on the movements of the living entities. Text 1. Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Karmana Deva Netrena
Karmana Deva Netrena
Jantu Dehopa Pattaye
Jantur Deho Patattaye
Striya Pravishta Udaram
Triyaramashavaram
Umsoreta Kanashraya.
Soreva Kanashayam.
The personality of Godhead said, under the supervision of the Supreme Lord and according to the result of his work, the living entity, the soul, is made to enter into the womb of a woman through the particle of male semen to assume a particular type of body. So, Karmana Deva Netrena, under the Lord's vision or supervision. Yeah. So, this is how we all take birth. And it is not some chance. It's all arranged according to our previous activities, previous karma, and so on. And the Lord is there to make sure that everything is carried out properly. And the material energy just does that job to give us the body we require. The Lord directs and the material nature supplies. Okay? Okay? So if the materialists think they can make a life form, then let them use chemical and make a life. They can't. You need that soul in the semen, otherwise it won't work. Not possible to create life. And if you ask them, they'll say in the future we will create life. No, they can't. They can't even make a plant.
But the soul and the semen also comes from outside, right? Probably not like
From Krishna.
It's not. Yeah, it's not of in the sense it's not produced out of the body, right? It's not like one of the bacteria.
No, the soul or whatever
Absorb.
comes it through the rain, and then into the grain, and then you eat the grain, and then it goes to the semen, like that. So your body has a lot of souls in there also.
They're moving.
Some of them may be favorable, some are not favorable. Some may become your child.
So rare.
Huh?
So rare.
Yeah, it is like that. So therefore this body is also like a world for another host of living entities. Text 2. Kalalam tu ekaratrena
Kalalam Ekaratrena
Pancharatrena Budbudam
Pancharatrena Budbudam
Dashahena tu Karkandu
Dashahena Tukakandu
Veshyandam va tataparam.
Vishyandam Bhataparam.
On the first night, now he describes how the body is formed. So this is already written millions of years ago. And then scientists only found out in the last 50, 60 years. On the first night, the sperm and ovum mix, and on the fifth night, the mixture ferments into a bubble. On the 10th night, it develops into a form like a plum, and after that, it gradually turns into a lump of flesh or an egg, as the case may be. Text 3. Masena tu shirodvabhyam
Mashena tu Shirodvamyam
Bau Angriyadya Anga Vigraha
Bahvandreyavya Anga Vigraha
Nakalo Masti Charmani
Nakharo Nasti Charmani
Linga Chidrodbhavas Tribihi.
Lingachitro Bhavasvihi.
In the course of a month, a head is formed, and at the end of 2 months, the hands, feet, and other limbs take shape. By the end of 3 months, the nails, fingers, toes, body hair, bones, and skin appear, as do the organ of generation and other apertures in the body, namely the eyes, nostrils, ears, mouth, and nails. It's all known already. Text 4. Chaturbeda tava sapta
Chaturvedava Sapta
Panchavishutre Udbhavaha
Panchavikshudradudbhavaha
Sadbe Jarayuna Vitaha
Shadvirjayayunavitaha
Kshavram Yati Dakshini.
Kupshau Brahmadakshini.
Within 4 months from the date of conception, the 7 essential ingredients of the body, namely child, blood, flesh, fat, bone, marrow, and semen, come into existence. At the end of 5 months, hunger and thirst make themselves felt, and at the end of 6 months, the fetus enclosed by the amnion begins to move on the right side of the abdomen. So if he's a male, he moves on the right side, and if he's a female, she moves on the left side. So I don't know, sometimes if you have twins, then you don't know. Text 3. Matu Jagdanna Panadair
Mato Jagdanna Panayayir
Ida Datur Asammate
Vedadhatu Sammate
Sete Vin Mutrayur Gate
Sete Mudrayurgate
Sajantur Jantu Sambhave.
Sajantur Jantu Sambhave.
Deriving its nutrition from the food and drink taken by the mother, the fetus grows and remains in that abominable residence of stools and urine, which is the breeding place of all kinds of worms. So they are biting the child also at that time. So it's painful experience also. So the food is coming through the umbilical cord from the mother to the child. Just like Lord Garbhadagasha Vishnu's lotus is joined to help Lord Brahma like that, or the entire universe. Similarly, in the womb, it is through the umbilical cord. Okay. Yeah. So you can see very similar to what modern science is saying about the description of the child in the womb.
Only last 40 years.
Only last 40 years.
After the discovery of sonography, they know.
More. Otherwise, they don't know. Or they cut the dead people and look and try to study. And then in the next paragraph, Prabhupada writes, since the food the child depends during pregnancy, it must be taken properly. There must be some restriction. But nowadays, people don't follow any restriction. Too much salt, too much chili, onion, and similar food is forbidden for the pregnant mother because the child's body is too delicate and new for him to tolerate such pungent food. So the child feels pain, whatever food is taken. So the body is like very soft and subtle, and then they can feel the pain. So you take food that is in the mode of goodness. So according to the Puranas and scripture, one should take that kind of food, then the child will be peaceful. Otherwise the child is feeling suffering in the womb, come out, suffer some more. Okay. So there's a whole process, Garbhadana Samskar, and then how to maintain, how to observe pregnancy and so on. Next 6. Krimi Shata Sarvanga
Krimihi Shatasavangaha
Saukumarya Pratikshanam
Saumaya Pradikshanam
Murcham Apnuti Uru Kleshas
Murchamapnoti Kleshas
Tatradhyayeshu Titarmuhu.
Tatradhyayeshu Titarmuhu.
Bitten again and again all over the body by the hungry worms in the abdomen itself, the child suffers terrible agony because of his tenderness, He thus becomes unconscious moment after moment because of the terrible condition. So that is maybe one of the reasons why the child is always sleeping. So much pain that they just go unconscious. Terrible, huh? Even there's no peace actually, no peace anywhere. I was wondering why even Sukadeva Goswami didn't want to come out. But then he's transcendental.
He thought maybe it's more pain outside.
Yeah. Text 7. Kartutikshno shan lavana Ruksham ladidi ulbanai Matri bhukte rupasprishta Sarvangotita vedana. Owing to the mother's eating bitter, pungent foodstuffs of food, which is too salty or too sour, the body of the child incessantly suffers pains which are almost intolerable. So they say, right, pregnant lady can eat anything. That's actually not true. It's all nonsense. According to our scripture, that is not true. Not supposed to. Right? Text 8. Ubena samvritastasmin Antraischa bahir avritaha Bhukna no asti kritva shira kukshau Bhukna prista shirodaraha. Placed within the amnion and covered outside by the intestines, the child remains lying on one side of the abdomen, his head turned towards his belly and his back and neck arched like a bow.
Exact picture is described.
Yeah, exact picture. So, we can't say this is not true. This is not some mythology, It's such a nonsense people say our scriptures. Prabhupada says if a grown man is put into such a situation in the womb, then he'll probably be crying. So that's how we were there. Maybe she slept through it. Text 9.
This is Radha Prabhu from Bombay. He's giving this UIS, science of the. So I heard his class and he was saying that the radiology just came like 30, 40 years.
Yeah, 30, 40 years. That's what we were saying about.
Oh, okay.
They only now say, text 9. Akalpa swanga chestayam Sakunta iva panjare Natra lagda smriti daiva Karma janma shatodbhavam Smaran dirgam anuchvasam Sharma kim nama vindate. The child thus remains just like a bird in a cage, without freedom of movement. At that time, if the child is fortunate, he can remember all the troubles of his past 100 births, and he grieves wretchedly. What is the possibility of peace of mind in that condition? There's no peace actually. Even if you remember, it's terrible. It's really bad. And if
the child is fortunate,
yes. So then he will not do those things when he takes birth. But if he's unfortunate, he still goes through some anxiety, pain, disease, whatever. It's such a terrible thing.
Some people remember like last 2 or 3 births. Usually we have articles coming.
One life last
I think most of us remember in the womb, but when you take birth, you forget. Huh? No, the birth itself is painful.
Yeah.
So they forget.
This
Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes.
Yeah.
Then you forget everything. You're suffering, you're crying. That's why they're born crying. So much pain. Why did I take bath? Then after that they get okay, everything's okay. Terrible, no? Text 10. Arabhya Saptaman Masal Labda Bodhopi Vepitaha Naikatraste Suti Vatai Vishtaburiva Sodaraha. Thus, endowed with the development of consciousness from the 7th month after his conception, the child is tossed downward by the airs that press the embryo during the weeks preceding delivery. Like the worms born of the same filthy abdominal cavity, he cannot remain in one place. So, this is the time his consciousness becomes more strong. He can figure things out a little bit. 7th month. So that's why in some religious thing they say the baby is only it's alive on the 7th month or something like this. Now they made it to a 4th month, something. So you cannot do abortion before a certain time. That's all nonsense. He knows from the beginning he's conscious.
Actually, the 7th verse, Prabhupada writes an interesting statement. All descriptions of the child's bodily situation in the womb of the mother are beyond our conception. It is very difficult to remain in such a position, but still the child has to remain. Because his consciousness is not very developed, the child can tolerate it. Otherwise, he would die.
Yeah.
That is, at that stage, 6th month, the child consciousness is not fully developed.
And also the body, is able to tolerate all those things. The baby's body you can bend, Yeah, when they are born, you can carry them, the hand this way. You can't do that now. So all those to tolerate the pain, actually, right? Otherwise, you cannot remain in such a tight and womb, so tightly packed.
With the head close, touching to your belly.
Yeah.
Then heads and hands and legs.
Prabhupada says the worms have been described here. Sodara. Sodara means born of the same mother. Sodara. Brothers and sisters. All born under the same conditions. So Prabhupada says we are very anxious to establish universal brotherhood among human beings. But we should take into consideration that even the worms are our brothers. What to speak of other living entities. Therefore, we should be concerned about all living entities. Interesting. Text 11. Natamana rishibhitaha Saptavadri kritanjali Stuvita tam viklavaya Vacha yeno dare arpita. The living entity in this frightful condition of life, bound by 7 layers of material ingredients, prays with folded hands, appealing to the Lord who has put him in that condition.
So everybody prays for no, right? It's only pious souls pray, that's what I mean.
Yeah, only the pious pray.
And they know Lord.
Yeah. It is possible everyone can have some understanding about, but if you are really, really sinful, then you probably never. But that's from this reading, it may appear that almost everyone is doing this. Or maybe because in the previous verse he says the fortunate ones can remember, so maybe they are the ones who are doing it. Such a horrible condition. No? Also 7 layers. Just like the entire universe is covered by 7 layers. Text 12. Jantur Uvacha.
Human sources.
It's about the
Oh.
the
He's praying
child
to the
in
Lord.
the,
Child praying.
so he is praying. So now we are going to listen to his prayer. Tasyo pasannam avitum jagati no. Tasyo pasannam avitum jagadichayata.
Tasyo vasannamavitum jagadichayata.
Nanatanubu vikalacharanarabindam.
Nanatayodu vichalarcharanarabindam.
Soham vrajami sharanami yakuto bhayam me.
Soham vrajami sharanam yakuto vayam.
Yene drishi gatiradarshya sato nurupa.
Ye drishi gadiradarshina sosarupa.
The human soul says, I take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead who appears in his various eternal forms and walks on the surface of the world. I take shelter of him only because he can give me relief from all fear, and from him I have received this condition of life which is just befitting my impious activities. It's just an amazing prayer. The Lord comes on his own will. Nobody forces the Lord. Sambhavami Atma Mayaya. So he appears at his own will by his internal potential power. Ichaya. He doesn't assume any form. We have to take a birth, a human birth like that. But he doesn't. So just like under the Lord's law, we are put into this suffering situation. In the same way, if we follow the Lord's rules and laws and injunction, he can then take us out of this suffering situation. So that's the prayer actually. Ultimately, you have to give up everything. What is the 6 types of surrender?
Yeah, accepting things which are favorable to
Yes,
Krishna,
anukulyam,
Pratikulyam
Pratikulyam,
Rakshishyati iti vishwasa.
protection.
Bhoktrishva varanam tata.
Yeah, English.
Krishna is the
Lord is
only
the
Maintainer.
protector, maintainer,
Then,
humility,
yeah, you have to be humble and only
complete
Sharanagati.
Sharanagati.
Complete surrender.
only do
That's the most.
Atma nikshepe.
Karpan.
Karpunyam Atma nikshepe. Shadvida
and then always wait for the Lord's
Lord's
mercy.
mercy. Yes. These are the things we have to practice. Otherwise, how can you surrender? Huh?
I always keep forgetting the 6.
No, if you know the Sanskrit, then you should know, right? Text 13. Yes, yes to no. Yeah, yes to atra baddha ivaka madhiravritatma.
Yasva prabhadda ivakarma viravritama.
Bhutendriya shayamayim avalamyamayam.
Bhutendriya shayamam avalam nirmayam.
Aste vishuddham avikaram akanda bodham.
Aste vishuddham vikaram akanda bodham.
Atapyamana hridaye vasitam namami.
Atapyamana hridaye vasitam namami.
I, the pure soul, appearing now bound by my activities and lying in the womb of my mother by the arrangement of Maya, I offer my respectful obeisances unto him who is also here with me, but who is unaffected and changeless. He is unlimited, but he is perceived in the repentant heart. To him I offer my respectful obeisances. So even at that situation, at that time, he knows the super soul is with him. But as soon as you take birth, you forget all these things. So Prabhupada says the super soul and the jiva soul are sitting in the same body as friends. One is suffering, the other person is aloof. So the super soul cannot be affected by in whatever situation is here because he is Purna. Okay? He is perfect, he is Purna. Okay? Pavitram, everything. He is transcendental. So even when he comes in the material realm, the material nature cannot affect him at all. Because he is the source of the material nature. But for us, it's a different situation. We are easily covered by the material energy because that is the role of the material energy, to cover us. Because we want to be covered. We want to forget Krishna so that we can enjoy separately. That's the thing. But the process is to learn that we are in the wrong place. Wrong place, wrong time, wrong everything. Then we can become a proper person practicing Krishna consciousness, and hopefully we can get free from the three modes of material nature and then take up the process seriously and go back to God. Text 14. Ya panchabhuta rachite ragita sharine Channo yatindriya gunata chidatmakoham Dena vikunta mahimanam rishintamenam Vande param prakriti purushayo I'm separated from the Supreme Lord because of my being in this material body, which is made of 5 elements, and therefore my qualities and senses are being misused. Although I am essentially spiritual, because the Supreme Personality of Godhead is transcendental to the material nature and the living entities, because he is devoid of such a material body, and because he is always glorious in his spiritual qualities, I offer my obeisances unto him. More prayers. In the last paragraph, Prabhupada writes, in the Vedas, it is said that the living entity is always free. Asango hi ayam purusha. The living entity is liberated. His material contamination is temporary, and his actual position is that he is liberated. This liberation is achieved by Krishna consciousness, which begins from the point of surrender. Text 15. Yanmayayoru gunakarma nibandanesmin Samsarike paticharam Nasta smriti punarayam pravrinita lokam Yuktya kaya mahadanugraham mantarena The human soul further prays. The living entity is put under the influence of material nature and continues a hard struggle for existence on the path of repeated birth and death. This conditional life is due to his forgetfulness of his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, without the Lord's mercy, how can he again engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord? So again, the main point you need to understand is without the Lord's mercy. Okay? You cannot get out of this material condition without Mahat Anugraham. The mercy must come from the Lord. It comes, we talked about it many times, through the devotees, spiritual master, and then the Lord. Then he can engage in transcendental loving service with the Lord. It's not any other way. Okay? You can't do any kind of education and then you get the stop from taking birth. It doesn't work like that. Mayavaris feel that way, but that is not true. You can't sit in one place and then meditate and say, I'm free from, or I'm going to be free from material nature, go to bed and sleep like that. It doesn't work like that. It's always acting. Only way is by the mercy of the Lord. So that's a very important consideration. And you should know that. And otherwise, Bahanam Janmanam Ante Jnanamam Mam Prabhudanti. Many lifetimes the one who speculates, Bahanam Janmanam has to go through so many lifetimes. Vasudev Sarvam Sam Mahatma Sudurlabha. Very rare people take up devotional practice. And, no matter how people argue about why we are suffering and so on, the point is we want to be in this situation. Not that the Lord purposely put us in the situation to suffer. We wanted this. And then the Lord provided the facility for that illusory lifestyles we want to live. Okay? So we shouldn't get confused. Sometimes you will meet people as you preach who will argue with you. Right? So why I have to suffer? Because you are arrogant. When you talk like that, they get angry. So actually we wanted it. We all wanted it and now we have forgotten it. As soon as you come to the material world, you forget. And so you try to enjoy the material nature. Because that's what we wanted. We didn't want to be with Krishna. We wanted to enjoy separately. And then as soon as we thought like that, we were given the opportunity to enjoy. I remember the Gopa taking the water pot. Soon he thought, I can drink. Why Krishna drink first? I'll drink first. Boom, he was going through lifetimes and then he was like, Krishna, I don't want. And then he's, hey, I'm dreaming. Yeah. No doubt, here Prabhupada writes, right, from me comes remembrance and forgetfulness, right? What is it? Jnanam apohanam cha, smriti jnanam apohanam. Yeah. So, forgetfulness of the conditioned soul is also due to the direction of the Lord. That forgetfulness is because the jiva wants to enjoy certain things. So if he remembers the Lord, then he can't enjoy those things. So to fulfill the jiva's desire, which is separate from the Lord makes him forget. Yeah, that's the reason. So Prabhupada mentions he has little independence. What does that little independence mean?
This feel.
Huh?
Feel.
Yeah, but what does it mean? Means
You can choose.
You can either enjoy the material nature or
there's only two
you
choices.
can surrender to God.
Either Krishna or Maya, that's it. That's his only independence.
Krishna or Krishna's
Not that he has so much independence. Independent is Swaraj. Who is Swaraj?
Lord Krishna.
Yeah, right? Because he is independent. He can do anything and there's no one superior to him, beyond him. Therefore there's no other cause beyond him. He is independent. Whereas we are dependent on so many things. So Nitya Nityananam Chetanam Chetanam. He gives us, otherwise we can't do anything. So that's the difference. So remember, Maya is very strong, not only through her two Shaktis to bewilder us, in terms of covering also, materially also, physically also, she is just packed us in. Really packed us in.
Durga.
So there's no way you can come out of this fortress of material nature. Not possible. Only through Krishna and his devotees. And only through their mercy we can get out of this material nature. So these things Prabhupada mentioned so many times. Why? Because we keep forgetting. Every day we forget. So by reading every day, we will remember that I am suffering. I am suffering. But understanding your suffering, you shouldn't become very depressed, yes, mental. Rather, we should understand this is not my original place. So let me try to love Krishna properly. The whole process, sadhana bhakti, if you do it nicely, you should start having loving relationship. It should come in your heart that you will love him. Yeah? You may think how is possible, but it can. Remember when Rukmini wrote a letter to Krishna, when she heard about Krishna, simply by hearing about Krishna, she fell in love with him.